Yeah, I mean, ultimately we're really disappointed, that we didn't finish the comeback against Toledo. So I think we're disappointed by that, and watched the film obviously, and it was good, and some not so good, and got to learn from that. And then we're on to Buffalo, another really good team. Will be an absolute dogfight.
Tom?
Coach, can you talk about your team's effort and that they just never fold? I mean, a lot of teams down 21 in that situation, those weather conditions might have just packed it in. Your guys continue, we've seen it all season, they continue to fight. Do you believe in moral victories in this type of situation?
Yes, I mean, there are moral victories, but you can separate that from the actual victory or lack thereof. If it's a moral victory for, continuing to fight, I don't know if it's a moral victory, but it's like we did that,
Right.
and that's a good thing, regardless of the final result. And I mean, I'll argue that to the day I die. So that doesn't take away any of the sting of losing the game. It probably makes it more difficult to take, as it should. But yeah, I'm definitely proud of the fact that we fought back. You don't want to get yourself in the situation where you have to fight back. We fought back twice, and again had a chance to win.
That third quarter, Toledo was very effective at running the ball and building up that 21-point lead. What did you see defensively out of your staff that was allowing them to kind of bust it off in chunks?
Well, I mean, I think it started with our opening kickoff. Our opening kickoff, they broke loose and put our defense in a short field. And then I think it was on the first play there, they ripped off a long run. And so, it's not basketball, but the game of football, I mean, there's a fair amount of momentum in football as well. It's not a game where you call timeouts to try to break momentum and whatnot, but I think it started with our kickoff and our inability to limit their return, and then they broke off the long run. We missed some tackles and had some breakdowns in communication, defensively, and against a really good back, and against a really good offensive line. You can't misfit a gap, can't miss a tackle, and you can't not get a call.
What sparked the turnaround for you guys as far as getting back into that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with you never know when if there's 76 guys suited up on the sideline and the coaches and everybody. The non-X's and O answer to that is that there has to be at least a core of people that believe that you're going to come back and win the game. You never know how many people that really is. And obviously the more that believe before something happens, the greater. And then as it goes, everybody, jumps in. So that may not be the spark, but that is what I believe is absolutely, necessary. I think probably the first score, right? I mean, there's a lot of different things you can point to, but, the first score, it goes from 31-10 to 31-16, and now you're down 2 scores, with plenty of time left, even though things aren't necessarily, going well. That's a lot of time. There's a lot of football left to be played to be down 2 scores.
You decided to go for 2 after that first score when it was 31-16. Was that a thought of, as we get later in the game and get closer, maybe it puts us ahead by 1 point? What was the thought process in going for 2 at that point?
So the thought process is, if you're 50%, which I believe is close to the national average on 2-point plays. If you go for it in that situation, and then you kick extra points, you're kicking an extra point to win. If you fail, then you still have another opportunity to go for 2. Now, obviously, if you go for 0 for 2, then that strategy doesn't work. But the strategy that we employed was go for 2. We have 2 chances to break even. If we make the first one, now we're kicking extra points to win the game, potentially.
Obviously, it's not the result you wanted on Saturday, but you guys played really well in the second and fourth quarters. Can you just talk about some of the takeaways that you can take from those 2 quarters?
Yeah, I mean, the first one is just how hard, our guys fought and continue to believe, even though, we weren't playing great football all the time. On a day where they were running the football on us, our defense again comes up big with a takeaway, almost 2, at the end to give us chances to win the game. We won the turnover takeaway, battle, and when you do that, you normally win, and we should have won the game. So that's a takeaway. We had I think 7 drops, and it was raining the entire game. So we had too many drops, but I thought our balance, run pass, for 2 weeks now was pretty good.
Oh yeah, you talked a little bit about the running backs there. You guys had your first rushing touchdown by a running back since the Illinois game. Can you talk about what it's like to have Shaq back in the lineup, and then just how he balances out the offense?
Yeah, we ran the ball well versus Illinois, and he got hurt and was out. And our other backs are good backs, but I mean, there's a reason that Shaq Van's our captain, and for the 3rd time, and I mean, he's a good player. And so having him back for Western, we felt as though he ran the ball well there, and then ran the ball again, well versus Toledo, and obviously our quarterback run game helps that, with keeping people honest. Far from perfect, but we felt as though we were able to run the ball.
Yeah, and then can you just talk about Mike's return and how he's doing?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Thank you.
2 student athletes that are with us today. Ty Eddington is returned from injury. What has his return meant as a pick-me-up for this team?
Yeah, I mean, Ty was injured, I want to say the Thursday before, Coastal Carolina, and then was out for, the first seven weeks, is that right? I mean, 7 or 8 weeks, if you include the bye. So, yeah, we missed him, and it's great having him back. He has the ability to be a dominant player inside. And at this time of year, I think everybody's, especially the guys who are inside, it takes its toll. Lots of double teams and lots of banging going on. So, having another person to be able to rotate in there and, hold it down is a big deal.
And then Drake, ultimate program guy, blue collar. What is his time here at EMU? What have you taken away from that?
Yeah, really, really appreciate Drake. I mean, he's definitely an Eastern Michigan man. Love having him in our football program. It's one of those positions where if you don't ever think about, that position or that name, that means they're doing a phenomenal job. And he has been a rock for us. Handles both our short and our long snapping duties. Gets down and covers punts. And is a really good leader, just a really good member of our senior class. The way that we do specialists, they're not just off to the side in their own world. Now they practice differently and all that, but there wasn't a strength or conditioning workout that he missed or did differently than anybody else. And so, huge part of our team, and we're fortunate to have him.
Anything else for Coach? Great.
All right, guys.
We don't have specialists in this room too often, but talk about your experience at Eastern Michigan and just how you've improved as a person over your time here at EMU.
Well, EMU gave me the opportunity to really grow as a person. I've gone through probably my highest highs, going to the 2 bowl games that we haven't been to since the California Bowl back in 1987, and then a few of my lowest lows and whatnot. So it made me grow as a man, but every day Eastern Michigan has been a family to me. So I could go to anyone on the team if I needed something, and they would help me within a heartbeat and whatnot. So it was just a great opportunity for me to learn who I was as a person, as a snapper and whatnot, and it also pushed me to become the person I am today. And it made me do things I wasn't originally going to do if I probably had a much easier route at some other college or wherever I went otherwise. So it gave me the opportunity to reach my full potential, I think.
Drake, long snapping is a very specific skill. How did you kind of enter into that type of position and develop into a long snapper?
So originally I was never a long snapper. Originally I was a quarterback way back when. But my dad was a center and middle linebacker, and since he was a center way back in his day, he did the long snapping duties for his college in Winona and in his high school way back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So basically in 5th grade, we needed a long snapper, and we thought we'd try it out, see how it worked and whatnot. And I was halfway decent at it. Kind of just did it here and there throughout the junior leagues, and then in high school I wanted to do it because I never wanted to leave the field. But my coaches didn't want me, since being a quarterback, you're one of the more important aspects of the team. So then my sophomore season, I decided to switch to outside back and H-back, and then kind of grew my long snapping talents, just trying to be the best that I can be for my team, and went to a few camps, figured out I was halfway decent, and just rolled from there, and somehow ended up at a D1 university.
So now here you are, there's 4 games left in the regular season. You guys are 4-4. As a team, what is the mindset right now moving through these final 4 games and moving into this Buffalo game?
Moving into the last 4 games, it's mainly just take it one game at a time. We can't look too far ahead because then you lose sight of what's in the moment. But we want to win every game. We don't want to go out like some other teams where we had the potential to do well, but we never reached our full potential and whatnot. So all of us are kind of looking at it as we have the opportunity to do something that hasn't been done in a while, which is win a bowl game, as well as have the best record that this team has seen in a long while, as well as an 8-4 if we win all our games, hopefully. But the only way we're going to do that is taking it 1 week at a time and taking it 1 game at a time. So this week we're focusing on Buffalo and how we can give ourselves the best opportunity to win this game.
Drake, is this team good at compartmentalizing losses like the one you just had, the one you had against Ball State, where it seemed like you had it, it got away from you guys? Are you able to easily put that behind you and move on to the next week?
Yeah, so that's a great testament to what our coach does, Coach Creighton, because he always tells us, give us the wrench. And basically what that means is just when tough times hit you, you just puff out your chest and kind of just take it on the chin and keep moving forward rather than sulking down and kind of letting it defeat you and whatnot. So he's kind of instilled that in all of us. So although these past losses, like you said, Ball State and this last loss to Toledo hurt really bad, every week we go out and are ready to prove people wrong and to always make ourselves better.
You mentioned bowl games being some of the highest highs here. Is that kind of where the bar is? Do you feel it's kind of a responsibility now as you pass the torch, as you get ready to leave here, that bowl games should be the standard for Eastern Michigan, or is that even in the thought process? Yeah,
so, I mean, me being who I am, I always think the best of everything. So I think that's 100% valid, that we are a 100% bowl eligible team. Like that shouldn't even be a goal anymore. That should kind of just be the standard of our program and whatnot. But as we know in the MAC conference, everything can kind of go wishy-washy, and it's never like a solidified deal. So every week we kind of confirm that where we're going is what we want to do and whatnot, but we get there by winning every single game every week and focusing just 1 day and 1 week at a time.
Thanks, Drake.
Charles?
Yeah, you guys are facing the defending MAC East champion in Buffalo this week. Can you talk about what a win would mean for your team, and then what some keys are to getting the win?
It'd be huge for us. I mean, it put us on the right course to just ending our season right. And a few keys is just doing what we do, playing complementary football with offense and defense, and then special teams just being the icing on the cake with making all our kicks and just giving our offense and defense best shots to do what we need to do.
Anything else? Thanks, Drake.
Thank you, guys.
Ty, after the extended break from the football field, getting back there, being with your team, what has it meant to you to be back out and playing on the D-line?
I mean, it's a great honor to be back. I mean, I missed a lot. I missed a lot of great, fun games they played. Some down times I wish I would have been there with the boys. But now that I'm back, I'm hoping to put my best foot forward and give the boys everything I got on this program.
So Ty, where's the same question I asked Drake? Kind of where's the mindset of the team as you head into this Buffalo game and this final stretch of 4 games in the season?
I mean, right now we coming off this loss. I mean, it's tough. I mean, especially for our boys in the D-line room. It's eating on us pretty good, but right now we got to wash it and move on to Buffalo. I mean, we got to focus on task at hand. It's never a great deal to lose, but I mean, we got to look at the bigger picture. We got 4 more games to play, and we got to put our best foot forward.
What was your take on the third quarter of the Toledo game where Toledo really came out, ran the ball well there, put 3 drives together to take that 21-point lead? What was happening to you guys defensively that allowed them to do that?
For us, it was just, little communication errors. I mean, small things that happened that caused these things to happen, but we never sat on the bench and just gave up. And we just came back on the field and did what we had to do continuously. And then, eventually we got to stop and we started moving forward.
Is that kind of the trademark of Eastern Michigan? This team has really shown no quit at any point in the season, no matter what the score is. Do you guys pride yourselves in the sense that no matter how bad it gets out there, you guys are able to keep it together and fight back?
Definitely. We just default always to our training. I mean, we never going to quit. It's not even a question in our mind. I mean, regardless if we're losing by 20 or 30, I mean, we know what we got to do, and we're going to do it till fourth quarter here 0.
Could you speak to the question I asked Drake about bowl games? It seems to be the standard now. Is that the way you feel that as you go through this program, it's kind of your obligation to pass the torch, and that this is kind of the new norm in Eastern Michigan?
Definitely. I mean, piggyback off Drake was saying, I mean, it's just something it just should be a standard for us now. I mean, our program is going up. I mean, it's not, we haven't been going down. I mean, it's always been a positive from here. I learned a great deal. I mean, the past has been a past, but this future is something special, and I see it's going pretty good far.
Thank you.
Charles?
Yeah, so you already discussed moving on to Buffalo. Can you talk about your team focus and then your personal focus on just what you're going to look at in this practice for this week, and then what your keys are to victory?
For this week, I mean, our team is focused on one day at a time. Come out here, watch film, learn what we got to learn, go on the field. It's a learning process every day, mentally and physically. We got to go out there, communicate, play to the ball every snap until practice is over. I mean, they're a good team. I mean, we're a good team as well. It's going to be a dogfight. It's the MAC. So we got to go out there and play ball like every other day we play. So, and mainly for these other games, I mean, we just got to focus the task at hand, really, and everything will fall in place.
How was it for you when you were injured and out? Did you learn a little something about yourself when you're kind of have the game taken away from you with injury over that time of period that improved your play when you returned?
It's a great question. I did. Mentally, a lot. Being out was not easy. Missing that half a season has really took its toll on me. It beat me up mentally at the beginning, but when I sat down and talked to a few people like the coaches and players, I really sat down and analyzed the situation and told me, it's going to be better for myself to sit down and get right mentally and get back on the field. And I promised my boys once I got back to the field, I was going to put my best foot forward and give them everything I got. Whether, I'm, still a little bit hurt with minor injuries I have, but I'm going to go out there and give them everything I got no matter what, pain or not.